You're probably not going to be rich, famous, and successful in your 20s, and that is 100% okay. I don't know why I decided to make this video when it's -11 outside. I could have done this inside, but here we are. Something that I have been struggling with that I want to share with you today that you've probably struggled with, or if you're watching this, you've struggled with, is the idea that everyone our age, and when I say our age, I'm talking about 20s basically. Every time I go on my phone, scroll through, doesn't matter what, Instagram, TikTok, X, anything, you're always gonna see that 20-year-old, 19-year-old, 21-year-old influencer with 4 Lamborghinis, living life, not a 9-to-5 job. They're not caught in the matrix, as people like to say. It's really easy to, and I've been falling victim to this, just getting caught up in that and making yourself feel like you're not good enough. And I think the reason I wanted to make this video is because after sitting down and thinking about it for a bit, I've become way more appreciative of what I actually have and what I'm building towards. And that's basically what I want to help you do today as well. I've been doing a lot of self-reflection, and something I set as a goal for myself that I didn't achieve back when I was like 21, 22 is I wanted to buy a supercar at 26 years old. I didn't care how I was going to do it. I always used to sit at a bar or restaurant with my dad out for lunch and basically say, look, I don't want to wait till I'm 70, 60, 50 to buy my dream car. I want to enjoy it while I'm young because I don't want to be an old fart when I am in this supercar, basically. And he kept asking me, well, how are you going to do that? And I just said, I don't know. I'm going to find a way. It's going to happen. And that 26th birthday would get closer and closer. And every time I got to the point where I'm like, okay, I got to do this, I got to buy it, I kind of stopped myself. And I was like, am I doing this because it's the right choice? Or am I doing this because I want the supercar so I can show other people? And I really struggled with that for a long time. And I could have bought it back then, but if I did, I would basically be sinking my entire savings at that point into a car. And I never, ever think that's the right thing to do. That 26th birthday came and went. I did not have the car of my dreams. I do have this 2006 BMW M5, which is an amazing car. But after that, I started to get really hard on myself. In full transparency, I have been running this YouTube channel for 6 years. I have 3,500 subs. I am nowhere near what I would define as a big or successful YouTube channel. I thought when I was starting this channel, I would be way bigger than where I'm at. And I'm sure if there's guys out there like you that have either started businesses or trying to grow a following on social media or trying to branch out on your own to basically do something, 99% of the time, it probably doesn't happen as fast as you'd like. And that 100% happened to me. And still to this day, I bash myself every day when I see other accounts that start within 1 or 2 or 3 months and they already have a bigger following than me. And that used to bother me so much. And I would think, am I just not cut out for this? Am I not entertaining? Is it the car that I drive that people just don't want to see? I'm competing with people building Lamborghinis and Audi R8s and Ferraris and the new BMW M's, which cost just as much basically. And I was bashing myself on that forever. And I still do. The more you spend time on social media, the more it seems like every 20-something-year-old is rich or loaded and has found some way to do it through day trading, through crypto, through social media, whatever it may be. And it's really easy to forget and take a step back and zoom out and say, that is the 0.000001% of people. And on top of that, how many of them are actually faking it at the end of the day? What's rented? What is leased? What is not really theirs? And something that I've heard and that I'm sure you've heard is comparison is the thief of joy. And so what I've started doing that's really helped me, that might help you as well, is taking things one step at a time and not comparing yourself to who's next to you, who you see on social media, anyone else, but comparing yourself to who you were yesterday or the week before. Does your business have more sales than it did last week? Do you have more followers than you did last week? Are you progressing in your job more than you did last week? That's ultimately the stuff I think that matters at the end of the day, is just progressing over time, 1% better every day. That's kind of a motto that's worked really well. And there's something I read that basically said successful people always feel like they're behind. So if you feel like, oh, I've done it, I've achieved everything I want, I can sit back and relax, that's not a truly successful person. So if you're somebody who constantly feels like you're behind, you're not doing enough, it's kind of the perpetual state of successful people because they're always pushing to be better. So you're doing the right thing. On the other hand, though, what I would recommend to do is to take milestone snapshots to see how far you've come. I've got 3,500 subs on YouTube. Very low number, but I remember when I had 300 and all I wanted was to hit 1,000. And I've hit that 3 times over now. And so those are things to celebrate. Doesn't matter how big or small. Doesn't matter the other guy who's got 300K, 3 million, whatever. Focus on your own progression at the end of the day. It's going to make you so much happier. And the funniest part of all this is again, my goal and my next 2 big purchases is going to be a house and a supercar. And I have basically told myself, I don't care what order that comes in, whatever the better deal arises first, basically. If the housing market goes way down, it's a great time to buy a house. I live in Toronto, Canada, most expensive housing market in North America, basically. Very tough to buy a house right now. So that's what I'm saving up for. And in the meantime, if a great deal on a used supercar comes out, one of the ones that I'd like to get, which I'm keeping personal to myself until it actually happens, then I'm going to go for that. But the ironic thing is it's become easier for me to work towards that when I've actually stepped back and stopped getting caught in this rat race of, I got to post this much, I got to push my business this much, I got to do all these different things. When you just take a step back and say, do I have more followers than I did yesterday? Am I making more sales than I did yesterday? Am I making a bit more money on YouTube every month than I did the month before? Who cares if it's $75 or $7,500? If you're improving, it's amazing what'll happen in a 3, 4, 5 year span when you look back. And this video is basically here to help you say, hey, if I'm not feeling great, if I'm feeling down, if I'm feeling I'm behind, I'm not rich and famous and successful in my 20s, it's okay. Keep pushing. Take a step back and realize if you have a roof over your head, if you have any kind of job, even if it's a minimum wage job, if you are doing something every day to better your life, reading more, whatever it may be, if you can afford to do that stuff, afford those liberties, you are still doing better than 95% of the population of the entire world. In fact, you don't have to worry about sickness, you have good health, you have food and water, you have all this stuff. You're already doing so much better. And I really struggle with that a lot. I always think, what's the next thing? I have to get the next car. For me, I'm a big car guy, obviously. What's the next car? And then I have to zoom back sometimes and be like, I already have a really cool, I have an old BMW M5. It's not the newest model, but it's a great car. I've really enjoyed it. And I want to invest more money into this to start doing more to this car instead of just saving for the next project, which could be months away, years away, basically. So it's actually 2 new mods coming to this car. I just ordered both. They'll be here for spring, so stay tuned for that. But I hope this was kind of helpful. All over the place, I know. Just designed to kind of get my thoughts out, and I don't know if it resonates with any of you. But I'm also using this video as a bit of a checklist for me. And I want to be able to come back to this video in a year's time, in 2 years' time, whenever it happens, and say, I was able to do that. And so the checklist here is, I am going to buy a supercar. And when I do, I'm coming back to this video to show you this again and to show you it's possible. It's not going to be a brand new $400,000 car, but it is going to be something that I have dreamed of for my whole life. And I'm going to do that by working very hard. I've got a new job. I moved out of advertising and now I'm in software sales. That's my day job. And with hard work, pays very well. I also run YouTube here. Not a lot of money, to be fully transparent. I make about between 100 and 150 Canadian dollars a month right now on YouTube with my 3,500 subs. It's growing by about $5 to $10 to $20 a month more every month as I make more content. So I'm going to snowball that. I also run a car culture clothing brand called Apparel by Enemy. I now have a partner in that business. So I have 3 sources of income, which are bringing cash into my bank account every month. The other thing I've been doing for the past 2 or 3 years that I'm continuing to do is I invest about 20 to 30% of my income every single month when it comes in. The majority of it does not go into the exciting crypto stuff that everyone's talking about that's super volatile. It goes into safe ETFs and safer stocks that pay dividends over time. I then take a smaller percentage of that and I put it into the more risky stuff like crypto and some of the other investments because I can afford to lose that money. It's a smaller percentage. And lastly, it's a lifestyle thing. If you want to save up for something, you do not live at your income. You need to live below your income. So what that means is if you live at $50,000, if you earn $50,000 a year, you should not live at $50,000. You should live at $20,000 because then you are saving 30K on 30K on 30K. And if you're investing that, it's snowballing. And that's how I would recommend you start to go. You start to push for whatever it is that you want to buy, that you want to achieve. Ton of rambling. I hope some of this resonated with you guys. It made sense. Just my thoughts of where I've been at recently. But mark my words, I will pull this video back up the day I buy that car and make my video on it to prove to myself and to you guys that this can be done. And it doesn't need to happen in your 20s, doesn't need to happen overnight. It's very rare that somebody becomes a one-night success and gets those cars, gets the house, gets all the fame and fortune they want and the success. What I always tell myself is, and this is kind of something I've just thought up, the longer it takes, the better it'll feel when you get there. If you were handed success overnight tomorrow, you'd get used to it really quickly. The hardship wouldn't be there, that adversity wouldn't be there that you had to face. You just kind of got it. You'd feel probably pretty spoiled. But the longer it takes, the harder it is. Almost be thankful for that and say, good, make it harder. Put another roadblock in for me. Because the harder you're going to have to work to achieve it, the better it's going to feel to tell everyone I told you so, to tell yourself I can do anything I put my mind to. And that's what's going to be the most fulfilling thing in your life. It's not about buying something. It's just about achieving what you set out to do. Not my usual video, I know. Just it's been freezing, it's been snowing, so not a lot going on with the car right now. Haven't even been able to drive it in like 2 weeks, but the snow is gone now, so we'll be taking it out soon. Like I said, 2 new mods coming to the car, so I will be posting vlogs on installing those. If that's something you're into, or if you want to see more videos like this, make sure you leave a sub and a like. Leave a comment down below. Is this kind of style of video that you guys like? Was this helpful at all? All that being said, I'm wishing each and every one of you the best. I hope you set out to achieve what you want and enjoy every step of the way. It's not going to go 0 to 100 overnight, but it's going to go 0 to 1 to 3 to 7 to 10, and you are going to approach 100, and it's going to come when it comes. The only way you lose is if you give up. So don't do that. Keep pushing, and I believe in myself, and I believe in you. My name's Chris. See you in the next one. Bye.